What up, everybody? Just got back from watching The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender, directed by the one and only David Fincher. I feel like a complete buffoon because I love David Fincher. I love Gone Girl. Zodiac's a great movie. Fight Club was not my favorite, but I appreciate it. And I cannot believe to this day I have the DVD and I still have not watched Seven. Hopefully this week I'll get around to that. But yeah, this was my first David Fincher movie ever in the movie theaters, and this movie was fucking awesome. It's gonna be on Netflix, I think November 10th, and I found out my theater was showing like a screening for it, so I didn't want to wait because I wanted to watch it really bad. So I took my mom and we went out last night. We had an absolute blast. Michael Fassbender is Michael Fassbender and Jake Gyllenhaal and Andrew Garfield. Those three guys are the most underrated actors of this era of film. They are so good. But Michael Fassbender as Magneto obviously is perfect. His performance in The Snowman is pretty good, but the movie itself isn't the best. But obviously, when I think about Michael Fassbender, I think about Magneto and just how perfectly well he plays that role. And yet again, he steals the show in this film. His screen presence is kind of like in Denzel Washington in a way, but he's not as intimidating. He's a lot more precise. He's a lot more calm and collective. And he's just so good in every fucking scene. He's in every single scene. It's like the Batman. He's in every single scene. There's not one scene without him. And I don't know what he does, but every scene just he feels like a different person in a way in this movie in particular. And it's cool because he is a hitman, but the movie isn't like a typical hitman story where he's just going around killing people. I like Chris Stuckman a lot, but I think he missed the plot of this movie. If you really watch his review, he literally said then the review. This movie is just Michael Fassbender going around killing people. At the end of the day, yes, but I mean there's a reason as to why he's doing it, which is his girlfriend being attacked by these hitmen, even though he is a hitman, and they're looking for him. So they go after his girlfriend, and that's why he goes after them. Chris didn't really explain that good, did he? But the plot is very simple. Like I just said, that's basically the gist of the movie. And the rest of the movie is Michael Fassbender either talking to the audience, because it does take a while for action to start. He's either talking to the audience or he's talking to the characters. But I think the movie shines the most is when he's doing monologues and he's talking to the audience. The first 40 minutes of this movie is super intense because you have no idea what the fuck is going to happen. Turns out, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, he basically fucks up the first kill. It's not his first kill, but it's the first kill in the movie. And he screws it up, and then everything just goes from there. And I like that. It wasn't just an easy kill for him. He definitely has a little weakness. Like sometimes he's not too sure. He doesn't know if he should feel empathy or not. So there's a lot of characteristics to his character. And this movie is definitely worth the second watch just for his monologues alone. The plot of the story and all that's pretty generic. But like his monologues and just how his character is written, it's definitely worth a second watch just for that. So his performance is definitely the best part about this movie. There's his performance and David Fincher's amazing cinematography, which is like another character of its own in this movie. Every single scene is just breathtaking. It's so much care to it. There's one fight scene that I absolutely fucking loved in this movie that I won't spoil because it's one of the best parts. But David Fincher's utilization of lighting is just so goddamn awesome. And Michael Fassbender's fighting this dude for like 5 minutes, and it's dark, and you can't really see anything. And then they get into the washroom, and that's where stuff really lights up. And then I don't know what it is from going from dark to light in a fight scene where you can't really see much, but you kind of know what's happening. And as soon as those characters enter the light and their body's all bloody, like, it just ramps up the intensity, and the way that he dims the lights and makes it so just gritty looking. It's so masterfully well done. I appreciate you guys giving us just a great Hitman flick that we can just sit back and watch. You can think a lot. There is a decent amount of thinking, but if you want, you can just turn your brain off and watch the movie and have fun. Great supporting characters. There's no stupid side characters. Everyone has an important part in the story. And if it wasn't for Michael Fassbender, if David Fincher made this, I'd still watch it. But if they had someone else in the role, I don't know if it would have been as good. I could see Michael Fassbender being a James Bond, any of that. Like an action hero, definitely. But he pulls off the Hitman so good. He's so clean. He's so calculating. He's so precise with everything he does. You just want more. And by the way the movie ends, I don't think we're going to get a second one, which I don't mind. But fuck, man, it's one of those movies where it's like the first Joker movie, Joaquin. The ending was so goddamn good, and you want more because of that performance. And then they announced they're making a second Joker movie, and you're like, oh, it's going to be a musical. Okay, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. So maybe it's a good thing that they won't make another killer. Who knows, maybe in a couple of years they will, but I don't think David Fincher has a track record of making sequels. He just makes one movie, and then he moves on. The score in this movie is definitely David Fincher. Like, you can just hear it. It's great. It's original. It's not a ripoff of anything. You'll definitely know once you watch the movie. I heard this is based off a book I have not read, but man, all I need is Michael Fassbender, and that's just going to pull me in. The trailers make this movie look a lot more action-packed than it is. The movie's broken up into chapters. There's 5 chapters, and then there's chapter 6, which is the epilogue. But I would say chapter 1 through 3 are like, you get kills, but it's a slow build-up, but it's good. But if you don't like slow build-up, then you're not going to like the first half of the movie. I would say chapter 4 to 6, it gets a bit more fast-paced. But I think the build-up was absolutely necessary. The only complaint I had about the film as a whole, I would have liked to have a bit more character development, or not even development, just more interaction between him and his girlfriend, just so you could care a little bit more. And there is some times where I think Michael Fassbender, like, they could have gave him more dialogue, but I think that's what they wanted to do, was not give him too much dialogue. Keep him, silent and only speaks when he needs to. But if they were going for that, then they fucking absolutely nailed it. But I would have liked a bit more character work in general, especially between him and his love interest, because that's what the movie focuses on. We don't really get a glimpse of his home life or anything, which is pretty typical for a Hitman story. But just because I like this actor so much, I wouldn't have minded an extra half hour just for more development. But it is what it is. It's not a perfect movie. It definitely has its flaws. But I am willing to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Support this in the theater if you can. It's not one of those movies where it's like a movie theater experience, but it is good to watch in the theater with the sound blasting. If not, definitely watch it on Netflix and give David Fincher and my boy Michael Fassbender all the support that they need. This is awesome. Thank you guys for making something original, and I really hope everyone that is watching this review will go watch it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll have a review out tomorrow. I think Halloween H2O tonight will be my first time watching it, and that will be the end for Halloween movies, as Halloween is tomorrow. So I'm not going to be doing more, maybe horror movies, definitely, but not any more Halloween-esque movies. So yet again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later.